First saw this film on HBO back when HBO was HBO. This movie was originally titled Catholic Boys, and here we go. Is Heaven Help Us my favorite movie of all time? No, of course not. But if you were living in New York City and went to a Catholic high school in the 60s, you just might give this movie a spin because this movie gets most of it right. Some details are basic to what part of the archdiocese your school was located in. Others are a matter of school tradition. For instance, like St. Basil's in the movie, my high school was strictly boys only. That segregation started in the sixth grade, which coincidentally enough was the same time that the Irish Christian Brothers took over as our teachers. The brothers at St. Basil's are from a different order altogether, although their methods are very much the same. Skinny ties were definitely in, but school blazers mostly not. I hadn't seen one of those since the first grade, and that one had purple piping. Again, more a matter of location, I suspect. The movie's very funny, but it doesn't have to resort to things like I wrecked my daddy's car on top of a toll bridge. I don't know if that's based on real life events or merely an urban myth, but it's a risky business Animal House kind of gag. The confessional stuff is funnier, especially the Kevin Dillon bit about what sins to confess to and what penance to expect in return. Same with the school dance, but Wallace Shawn's admonishing speech belongs up there on the toll bridge with Daddy's car. Andrew McCarthy is perfect, right down to his Robert Hall sports coat, as the sensitive new boy trying to make his way through a Catholic high school adolescence. Kevin Dillon, with his pug Irish looks, is also perfectly cast. Every Catholic school had someone who looked like him and acted like him. Mary Stuart Masterson plays the street smart teenage girl who runs the local soda shop for her depressed father. She enters a brief, short lived romance with Andrew McCarthy that ends sadly when her father is taken away to a sanitarium. John Hurd plays Brother Timothy, who will grub a smoke off you once you're off school grounds. Just being one of the guys. It's a cliche, but it works both in fiction and in fact, as I remember one time seeing one of my teachers on the subway during the summer months. He was in civilian clothes, no robe, no collar, and he recognized me and gave me a slight smile. So I walked over and we talked about school stuff. That sort of thing was rare enough, except maybe on Saturday mornings at McCombs Dam Park, where the track team would meet for practice. I didn't last long on the track team as I was too slow, and I didn't play basketball because I didn't know how. So I spent my time in the gym working out on the parallel bars and the ropes. It's a Burt Lancaster thing. Oh, not that I was ever a gymnast, far from it, but I wasn't about to sit in the bleachers either. And it served me well, as later I spent most of my adult life climbing in and out of one lighting grid after another. One of the cliches about Catholic schools is that the education is superior. So, is that true? Was the education superior to that found in the public schools? Well, yes. But what matters is what you do with it. Donald Sutherland plays Brother Thaddeus, the school principal. Back in 1965, when I was in the sixth grade at Incarnation Elementary, Pope Paul VI visited New York City. This was a big deal, as he was the first pope ever to visit the United States. So every Catholic school student in the entire city of New York was schlepped down to Central Park so we could all get a look at him. The only thing I saw was the top of his head whizzing by. The movie pretty much nails that as well. And the joyous look on Donald Sutherland's face as he wipes away a tear of happiness is fatuously funny. But Brother Thaddeus is no fool, as he so aptly demonstrates when he finally confronts an overly sadistic brother played by Jay Patterson. Overly sadistic? Now, there's a qualified notion if I've ever heard one. But the brothers themselves were a product of the same system. So I guess what goes around comes around. And one of the things this movie really nails is the wide ranging menu of corporal punishments. There's a scene in this movie where both Andrew McCarthy and Kevin Dillon are forced to kneel and hold heavy books in their outstretched arms. 20 whacks on an open palm with a razor strop was routine stuff. One time, I even had my face smashed right into a blackboard. I had chalk all over my face and blood dripping from both nostrils. Yeah, that'll build character all right. Most of us can laugh about it now, laugh about the absurdity of those sanctions, but for others, it stymied their growth as individuals, kept them locked in their shells, as my dad might say. Oh, but not me. Beat me all you want, I always get back up. Despite everything, I'm glad I went to Catholic schools. There was a certain esprit de corps about the whole thing. No doubt a byproduct of having to wear a tie all those years. And that too served me well later in life. Finally, this movie has payback for all of us who went through that system. One massive counterpunch that will levitate you right out of your seat, guaranteed. See you around the cafeteria.